cameras on. Good evening, fellow councillors. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and residents sitting in the stalls on the very comfortable chairs over there. Nice to see you. It's nice to see growing slightly and slowly for our residents coming into our council meetings. You're all welcome. Thank you. It's also nice to see the sun today. Now, just before I kick off on the council agenda, hopefully you've got on your chairs the new town guide, which is hot off the presses today, and this is our new town guide, which we're very proud of. If you haven't got one, we'll furnish you with one afterwards. Okay, so welcome to this, our full council meeting. We'll kick off our first item on the agenda, which is apologies for absence. Thank you, Tracy.
Apologies from Councillor Barry.
Councillor Barry, apologies. Our second item on the agenda is to receive the minutes of the council meeting held on the 20th of February 2025 and confirm as a correct record. Councillors, no doubt you've all erstwhile studied those and you're all quite happy with them, I may say. Do we have any queries? If not, may I have a proposer and a seconder, please? Okay, there's a proposer and Richard. Thank you. All in favour? There you go. Okay, thank you. Item 3 are the Mayor's announcements. As you can see, it's been not too busy, but it's been satisfying, and it's been quite a nice February and beginning of March. All of my functions are there in front of you. Little advert for the 27th of April while I'm on the Mayor's announcements, which is the tea dance, which is part of the VE 80th celebrations for YMCA on the 27th of April, which is on Sunday. We will have a secret musician or two, along with some other professional musicians. I believe most of the tickets are now sold, but if you'd like to go to Spirals, I'm sure Jane will. Thank you. Item 4 on the agenda is a declaration of disclosable peculiar interests. Members are reminded of the requirement to disclose any interest in relation to items on the agenda when these are discussed. Oh, sorry.
Yes, I won't be voting on the FCA minutes item 5 or the finance minutes F115 item 4. They concern the cricket club and a district council grant. I didn't take part in any discussion. I left the room when it was being discussed, but as it's only verifying the minutes, I will just abstain from voting.
Thank you very much. Same for you, Councillor Simon.
Yeah. I'm abstaining from the yellow line issue.
Are you declaring interest or?
I'm declaring interest now after leave.
Declaring sorry?
I'll have to leave.
You'll have to leave. Anyone? That's the most we have all year. Thank you very much. Oh, hello. Item 5 is to receive a written report from County Councillor, our Essex County Councillor, Councillor Alan Goggin. Alan, we've got the orange chair for you, which we now know as the Fox chair.
This is. I'm just looking to see if there's any plugs.
Thank you, Alan.
Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's okay. There are a couple of big-ish items, so I'll try and get those out of the way first. First of all, I think it should be said that congratulations to our TDC people. I thought the exhibition here was good, well organised, a bit on detail in some places, but well done, I think. I thought that was good. The submission to the government for devolution has been agreed today. I've seen the final draft. I think it's the final draft. It's going in tomorrow. So that's the final draft. That's the final letter. I suppose I ought to go straight to item number 9. March 5th, Brightsea Gridlock, traffic lights, Storrington. I think I ought to make, on behalf of everybody, a huge apology to anybody that was caught in it. I mean, there would be people there that go to work, there were people going to school, there were people going to hospital appointments, people going to dentist appointments. I had someone that was going to a funeral there. It's just terrible, and they were stuck there for an hour. Someone got to an airport just in time, and there were 2 ambulances stuck in the thing as well. The structure of the problem, I've suddenly learned an awful lot about 4-way traffic lights. I didn't realise how problematical they are. For those of you that don't know, it's a 4-junction site. So many traffic lights are at 4-junction sites, and you've normally got 2 going at any one time. So you can have crisscrosses over and that. But a 4-light a temporary traffic light means that for 1 minute, individually, every road is open. So the opposite of that occurs, which means that in every 4 minutes, for 3 minutes, the road you're on isn't open. So it's, by the time you add a bit on the end, for 20% of the time, for 80% of the time, the traffic isn't moving in your chosen road. The purpose was a nice one. They were putting in a new bus shelter. It needed a crane. I put a request in to Highways for investigation. I've sent a copy of my notes to the Mayor. It's a 3.5-page document related to problems and issues, and to try and avoid anything like that ever happening again. Out of it has come a suggestion from myself, which I think you'll agree with, and I hope you do. It's a long time since we actually had a survey on that road, the B1029. The last survey was carried out, as far as I can remember, by myself in conjunction with the school zebra crossing. So that tells you how far back that was. And at that time, the traffic on the road was 70,000 vehicles in a 7-day, 24-hour period. That's equivalent to 3.5 million in a year. So 3.5 million journeys in a year, and then you look at the length of it. So just I'll try and describe it. So there's 3.5 million journeys going on, and the potential for accidents is huge, because on a single journey normally you go past another 30 vehicles coming the opposite direction. So I've asked, and I think I'm going to ask your permission for me to do it. We're going to offer a speed and volume survey to try and bring ourselves up to date with the numbers. I think it's fair to say we'd actually, as if by magic, the month before we actually talked about the speed and volume surveys. Councillor Morgan said that the traffic there is getting worse. There are some days it's not bad. There are some days it's deplorable. So the actual gridlock was caused by. I want to be careful because I don't want to get anybody into trouble. But the traffic light firm has nothing to do with the people installing the bus shelter. The traffic light firm was a firm called AJ something or other from Ipswich, and they had one operative there. Nice enough chap, but frightened to death of what was happening, and of course he didn't know. He's got anything. When he got abuse from people, said, "You realise there's a so and so." And to try and alleviate it, what I did, we took over. I think, to be blunt, he was relieved, and what we did, we doubled and tripled the length of the time taken to get people coming out of Bardingsea. There were still hold-ups on the other 3 places, but of course they were nowhere near the gridlock. So absolute apologies to anybody caught in it. Absolute apologies for anything that happened on that. I don't believe it will ever happen again. It's never happened before. The worst road accident I've seen in was Miss Dove, when she had the head-on clash just before Christmas Tree House, and that was chaotic. But there never, ever was the gridlock behind, and that was the road was shut off and helicopters flown in the morning sort of thing. So that's I'm not making any excuses, and I'm not making any apologies, but that's what it was. I'll take a breath there because I think those two items alone justify something. The good news on Belfield Avenue is that the stage 1 has been completed. I don't know if anybody's been down there.
Yes.
I think it looks pretty damn good, to be honest. And the people that have got nice drop curves, I think even more think they look pretty damn good. It always was a two-stage affair. It was two separate firms. Firm A came in to do what I call the big dig, which is down to, when I went and had a look, it was those 6 feet down. It was huge. And when they got down, they found even more of what they could have asked Mick Judson 10 years ago about this, and we told them. It was even worse down there than anyone had imagined. So the work went on, what was scheduled for 10 weeks, went on for 18. What that meant is that the scheme 2, which is just a surface bits and pieces, that was due to start sometime in January. That's been put back and put back and put back. And now the first team have gone. We're now trying to reschedule the other one. No promises about when, but we're trying to get that done as quickly as possible. So that's, I think, shall I stop for a minute and see whether...
Well, we'll save questions until the end of your report.
Oh, all right, okay. In that case, just Councillor Chapman and I had a site visit in Lime Street to sort out what we thought was a problem. We don't think it's a problem, it is. There was a damaged sink drain in Templey Hill. One of the residents phoned me about that outside his house. To be fair, we reported it as an emergency. Someone came out with a plate. I don't even know what I mean by a plate. You put it over a pothole or something, and it's a metal plate, and it's designed. But that just gets you over the stopping people from falling down the hole. They've been back since then and started looking. The neighbour thinks that the problem is the drain going into the bit behind the road. So they were doing that, as I understand. And again, using traffic lights, and strangely enough, we're not getting anywhere near the problem. Gridlock. We're waiting for the lady to keep her promise about Wellington Street. I'm expecting that to be done. Thank you for those that attended my residence clinic. We got a new bunch of people turn up, including the new Great Bentley District Councillor. That's a bit of a first. She turned up for, I didn't know she was for half an hour. That's a bit embarrassing. So that, Mr Chairman, I think will do that.
Thanks, Alan. It's very comprehensive. We've got a few councillors panting to the questions.
Panting?
Panting. Yes. Keep on
Panting?
Oh, I don't think I'm quite panting.
Oh,
I understand. So
relieved.
yeah, I just wanted to say I do think that sorry to roundabout, I've been bringing that last meeting. I wasn't so much worried about the speed and volume, but I was really looking whether your traffic department could actually look at the roundabout to see what could be possible to alleviate what is becoming quite a problem.
Great.
Not only, I think it backs up there a lot,
Yeah.
and I think it's affecting the commercial viability of the town as well, not only just personally for people getting about. So I think it's something we really want to look at.
Sure.
You've got the right department,
Yeah.
just to see what is possible. I'm not sure speed and volume is...
My apologies, sorry, there is no other expression other than
Okay.
speed and volume, sorry. With speed and volume you get numbers
Yes.
and you get weights. So we can tell how many vehicles cross that piece of road at the time it is. We can tell whether the lorries are Pantechnicons, buses, bicycles and motorbikes.
Yeah.
It's not. It's called speed and volume,
Yeah.
but it's not necessarily. You get the whole lot.
Yeah. No, you just need a guy who really understands.
And we're
road systems.
meeting on site,
Yeah.
and you're joining me, aren't you? At the last meeting, we said that me, you,
Okay.
and you volunteered.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. Yeah.
So I'm hoping to do that. I'm hoping to do that this month.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I have looked into. I think I did say. I looked into who owned the piece of grass outside on the corner there,
Yeah.
and by coincidence, I didn't know, but it is Essex County Council.
Okay.
Thank you. Does any other councillor?
Just a very simple question. You mentioned the traffic at 3.5 million a year. When was that measurement taken?
It took the zebra crossing's been in 3 years. It took 6 years to get it to 9, and to get it, there's a thing called PV. It's a posh expression called PV2 squared, which is the pass. It's a relation of the percentage of vehicles compared to the percentage of people. So if it was 9, and to get that done in the first place, that must be 12 years old.
12 years old. So 12 years ago, 3.5 million.
Yeah.
Right, thank you.
What will do?
Yeah, no, that's...
And there's a copy of it in this office.
Councillor Stay.
LGR, and I don't know whether this would be involved with this, because obviously the road, at the Thornton Cross, that technically comes under Thornton District Town Council. So did they make any representations to you about that?
No, it's funny because someone said, and I forget who it was, all Brightlingsea Town Council didn't know. So I checked, and of course you're quite right. Technically, well not technically, but it is a Thorrington issue. So one of the things that we're doing when we have our meeting, I'm making sure that Thorrington are represented as well.
Yeah, because the next thing is with the way LGR goes, it could quite well be that the ward will be more than just Brightlingsea, Thorrington and Nelson. Possibly.
I agree with you.
So maybe we should be, when we do have our discussions, maybe we should be taking that into consideration.
Yeah.
Because it's better started now.
Yeah.
To see what action we can be taking, like a cluster really. So it's us, Thorrington.
Well, the thing I ought to make clear is we're doing this survey with the rubber band, but we're actually doing it on Thorrington's land, so on Thorrington's road, because Thorrington take control of all the road. I think the first house in Brightlingsea, I think it's Christmas Tree House, all the others.
No.
Fine Cottage.
Which one's Vine?
Cottage, the one after the...
Oh, it's after that.
Yeah.
Oh, crikey. Okay. Well, so one of the things from me asking tonight was, is it okay if I do it? And I'm going to go to Thorrington. The bank will say yes, and say we're doing it on your roads.
Councillor.
Just to clarify, what piece of, would you work quite clear on what piece of green? you
Oh,
meant earlier?
as you come up to, you're leaving Brightlingsea,
Yeah.
you come to the crossroads. On the left is the carpet place and the tyre place, and you come to the junction, and on your left there's a brick wall,
Yeah.
and in front of the brick wall there's a greensward. Just goes round like that.
So it'd make a good filter lane, would it?
It might do.
Yeah, is that what?
If that wasn't there,
Yeah.
it would be a no-no.
And that belongs to?
Belongs to Essex County Council. Now, don't forget, I've got that verbally, so I haven't got it on a piece of
No,
paper
okay.
yet, and you know what happens. So.
Yeah.
Our public. As you know, Councillor Goggin will be zooming on to St Joseph for his customary cup of cocoa and biscuit. Before he goes, which won't be just yet, but before he goes, we allow you the opportunity to fire any questions to County Council as you have them.
You go first,
Oh, thank you, Richard. Sue Cook. Alan, I was just wondering, we got our council tax bill the other day,
Right.
and we've got how much goes to tendering, how much goes for the police precinct, but there was no mention this time of adult social care, how much is going to... I just wondered why, if you knew. Because normally you have adult social care.
Yeah,
How much is
I'm
that?
not 100%. I think the last meeting, I'm fairly sure I said that there was a 3.75% increase, of which 2% was going to adult social care. I'm not convinced you actually get a thing for adult social care as a number, but if you want that, I can find it.
Oh, is that, no, it's
Okay.
not.
It's about, I can tell you now, it's a number I usually like, it's about £900 million.
What's that as a percentage?
Well, it's 900 million out of 2,000 million, so that's nice, 45%.
45%, that's what you can even...
Yeah, 40, it's 45% goes, and that's not including children with special needs. And just to let you know, if you use 900 million as the base, the amount of rates that are paid are approximately 850 million.
Cool.
So the rates that we all pay, don't even cover adult social care.
Richard?
Well, Richard Price, the Parking Partnership, in the white paper it says that when it becomes unitary authority, that the unitary will be taken over on street parking. That's the way I understand it. Can you find out if that's correct? Because when you come to have if Malden's going to be put in, they're part of the South Essex partnership. So I really want to be clear about this, you know, as soon as possible. You may not know, but you're on the scrutiny panel, and Councillor Chapman was kindly going to find out about this deficit they had last year, which they said was a deficit, but they couldn't tell us what the deficit was. So that was a bit of a mystery. Hopefully they'll sort that out. But the other thing is, I came to the finance meeting yesterday, and they want these yellow lines, double line, down by the harbour. Now, they're talking about the residents paying for it. So, do you know anything about this?
I think, to be honest, Richard, that's in the hands of the Finance Committee.
Yeah, I know,
I don't
but...
know that Alan knows.
Well, he's the scrutiny...
Oh, you do know that?
I do.
He's the scrutiny man. Sorry.
I was walking in here to come and look at the thing, and some crazy cyclist said, "I want to talk to you."
Okay, but I'll just clarify. After the post-meeting, Councillor Barry has clarified the process is to expedite the line painting supported by residents agreed funding. The painting is not an act priority at this time unless any other funding is obtained.
So Alan, would that apply to say they put yellow lines down Station Road because people park there? Are we going to pay for that in the future, the residents?
You're dead right. I don't know the answer.
No, I know. I don't expect you to know that. But
the best person to give us a specific would be Mick, because he actually sits on it. It came as a complete surprise to me when I've never ever heard of anybody saying that you've got to, because to put one in that might be an answer. I suppose if a parish or a town wanted to do something better with their shopping centre or something, and they wanted to achieve something, then there may be an argument for saying it's an improvement or a change. But as far as I can see, there's no change. All it is maintenance. Unless I've got that wrong, all you're doing is wanting to repaint what's already there.
I think you're right.
So that doesn't need a special Traffic Act order. And I think I told you before, the parking partnerships, it's an odd situation because if parking partnerships were successful with making sure that the parking in all the difficult places was okay, they wouldn't have any revenue because they wouldn't be able to find anybody. So it's an odd situation where you actually want the place in the high street and the school, you want it to be nice and smooth and you want it to act well. But if the parking partnership were doing their job properly, a total success would be no tickets.
But they can't
no
do it if they
cheques.
don't know the money.
No
If they
cheques.
don't know what the revenue is.
Okay, right, so we've got quite a lot tonight.
No, sorry.
So we'll leave it on that until the finance
Yeah.
meeting comes up. But I
Sorry,
think we'll bring
can I
that.
just-
Hang on, just a minute, Councillor Helen. Are there any other members of the public wishing to ask Councillor Duggan a question? No, thank you, Councillor.
Well, I was just going to say about the, you were saying about the Station Road, about yellow lines on Station Road.
What I was saying was that if you're gonna this paying thing, so next time they might be asking
Yeah,
the residents to
because
go out and pay them themselves.
It doesn't make sense because we've tried to get some lines on the pinch point on
Yeah.
Station Road where the bus comes
Yeah.
through, and we wasn't going to have to pay for them if they agreed to do
No,
them.
no.
But when we tried to get say some timed parking outside the bakers,
Yeah.
we'd have to pay for that. So it's
I
all a
think,
bit
to
of
be
a grey.
Yeah.
Councillor Helen, I think that's a different thing. My understanding is that the lines are faded on the waterside
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
The residents are in a little bit of a to-do about this, and
Dangerous.
the approach.
Oh, thanks very much, Jen. I wasn't at the finance meeting, so I didn't
No,
know
I
about
was
that.
like,
Yeah, oh, okay.
They've approached the NEP. The NEP have said we got no money. As Alan quite rightly says, they're an institution that never has money unless they were giving fines. The residents have turned around, as I understand it, Councillor Atkinson, and said, well, we don't mind paying. Is that about right?
That's right.
Okay, so so it's not a new thing.
Just wanted to ask Alan. We're really keen on getting one of the smiley face movable sign.
Okay.
Can you send me the details again? I know you've sent them to me before, but I can't find them. Could you send me the details on how we apply again?
Okay, at the moment, there are no funds.
Oh, that's the next question. Yeah,
No funds.
Okay, so
When we did the Smiley Face initiative,
yeah.
Alsford took it up.
And we didn't.
We won't spend it.
So can we have the price of how much it would be?
Could you give us
I-
that information?
I'll give the best thing for me to do is to give you the name of the people
Yeah.
who put the. Now, just to let you know, I think they're called Westcotec. Is that right?
Is it?
West.
Something like
It's Westcotec something, but I don't want to be seen to be promoting them as an individual. I'm promoting them as a concept. They came and did the presentation with Tracy and all the other parishes.
Yeah.
At the time, I made sure that there were other people that do the same thing, and Great Bentley got theirs from somebody else,
Okay.
but they still used the grant money that was available at the
Yeah.
time. So if I give you the Westcotec details, depending upon, this is a few years ago now, I think the one at Thorrington cost about £4,000,
Yeah.
I think.
I think you said that before.
And then there's a bit extra for the posts,
Yeah.
but that was a few years ago.
Yeah.
Don't take that as it's not 20,000.
Okay.
No.
Right, thanks very much indeed.
Just one
Could
quick
just
thing.
very quick one, please.
We got an update on the survey, the strips, like
The
when that's going in.
traffic survey, Ladysmith Avenue.
Yeah.
Oh, why did I?
Yeah, we haven't.
I think we'll
Oh,
wait.
yeah, yes. James Ravel told me, I think it's the next 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's outside the house that,
Don't say it.
sorry?
Don't tell me. No,
Oh, well,
don't
they're
tell
being
We're
a
trying to
row.
keep it quiet.
Okay, thanks very much indeed. Alan, your information has been superb. Thanks very much. Wonderful.
This is for those that knew him. I haven't had the rest of the days, I'll be blunt. I saw Nick Turner tonight, and they turned him off.
Oh.
He hasn't passed yet, but he was surrounded by his family. Lots of good people from Tendring had gone and been really nice. But they turned him off, and he'll pass tonight or tomorrow.
Okay, that's rather sad.
That's for Nick Turner, anybody that didn't. Very nice bloke. A past chairman of Tendring District Council.
Very sad. Okay, thanks very much, Alan. And thank you, councillors, for asking the right questions. Okay, we'll go on with our agenda now, and that is to receive. Alan, you're staying with us for a little while, I understand.
I've got a little bit of a problem at at St Osyth, because St Osyth started their meeting at 6:30
Oh,
in order to get someone from TDC down to do a thingy. So they've said to me, as quickly as you can get your backside over to, because they've already been in their meeting for an hour. So do you mind if I don't?
Send our regards.
Of course, of course.
Our next item is item agenda 6, which is an update from district councillors. Councillor Barry is not here this evening, he's right, he's a little away. Does any of our district councillors want to tease what is in Councillor Barry's report? Thank you. Right, and then let's now receive a report, please, from District Councillor Jane Chapman. Jane?
Just I forgot to add the meeting with Chief Exec last night on my list, and really the feedback that's come from the planning officers is thank you to Brighton Sea for
Thanks for the time. Thanks.
a fantastic turnout, when you think that Manningtree couldn't even hit 40 and yet we were well over the 100. Those people that were here near the end, the actual director of planning, Gary Diver, came. Lots of comments about putting in another road in Brightlingsea, and the comment back from the planning officers is be careful what you wish for, because to put another road in, they will lose control of trying to restrict planning. We can stand here and say that they had to be very neutral, but that has been fed back to us. And really to remind people that if they haven't filled in the survey, we have got paper copies if people don't like doing it online, and we got till April the 14th, I think, to get them in. So, but yeah,
Well,
they
great.
were
I mean,
very, very grateful, to get over that sort of numbers.
thanks for taking the time for arranging all that. Councillor Judson, I believe, has got a question for you.
As a practical person who knows something about these matters, the second road would be, unless you were prepared to spend billions of pounds, an impossibility. It's too wide, the mud is too deep. I remember talking to the manager down at Kilgrove Docks, and they went down 60 feet and couldn't find bedrock. And
Sorry, that's if the road went out where?
it wouldn't matter really where you put it.
There is two actual options where a second road could go, and it would be quite easy.
Where would that
To the
be?
top end of the town.
Okay, but this is all, we don't, it's not being put.
But anyway, we don't want to.
We don't,
pursue
let's
that
not
because
pursue something.
We don't want a second road anyway.
Okay, thanks very much, Jane. Anything else you've got? Thank you. Councillor Stick.
Yeah, thanks. On the same theme again, really. I did, which is on my report tonight, and I did send it around to all members concerning the last consultation we did, the last local plan. Now, if you actually read it, you can see the numbers there per village and town in Tendring. And I think the bottom bit is the bit where it says that there was, 5 areas forward which we were able to head off the pass. And that was a total of 991 pages. So I would guess we've got to try and do the same sort of thing. We did work quite hard, didn't we, at that time with the plan and everything, and also near the time we talked to the developers about the makeup of the campaigns they got, the type of houses they were going to put in. And then again, so well, we're going to put a little exhibition very similar to the one this week. We're going to have it in the foyer there, so that people who couldn't get here, and then we can obviously put some of the forms up there as well, and hopefully that will encourage more people to come and put their views forward.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a useful document. Thank you very much. Now, does any councillor have any questions for district councillors, please? Ooh. Quick. Thanks very much for what you've done. I mean, and last night, talking to the Chief Executive Tendring was good. There wasn't a great deal that I didn't already know, but it was good. It was good to hear that he cares and he took the time to actually talk to us outside of his normal working day. 7 o'clock. Yeah. Thanks very much. Okay, so our next on our agenda will be our teams reports. We're going to receive some reports and recommendations from the following teams. At the moment, we're going to receive now the Facilities and Community Assets team, which is chaired by Councillor Morgan.
Thank you, Jack. The reports in front of you. It was a good meeting we had on the 11th of March. The boat park, as you can see, we're really getting into it. Our staff, I must say, Terry and the guys have done a really good job of cleaning the boat park up. There's much more to do. We're looking at the fencing and we're looking at the gates, which are pretty rusty, but all these things will take some time. At the moment, we've had very positive feedback. 130 people have booked spaces, and there's about 35 still available, which we could probably put on our website, would be a good thing. And I think there's still about 10 people wanting them reserved, so that's been very good. But primarily, I just wanted to say thanks to the staff for doing a fantastic job. The only other thing I would say, on the town council survey, which has gone down very well. There was a final push, and I do thank the councillors who did that. Was it last weekend? So we're going to finally finish our survey on the 1st of April. So hopefully, anybody's got you to finalise getting it back to us, please, by the April the 1st. At the moment, we had 140 surveys back. That was at the time of the FCA meeting. So hopefully we can push that up to nearer 200. And then Matt and a few others are going to try and make a report on that, which will be then generally circulated, our findings to the general public for their thoughts.
It's encouraging.
It's very encouraging.
Thank you, thanks very much. Councillor Atkinson, is there anything you'd like to just read out from the FCA minutes?
No.
Councillor Payton. So there was a switch at the last minute.
No. I just wanted to make the point in the minutes there, it says the Lido shelter, and actually that has been approved, but we're waiting for the finance department to do the machinations. But it has been signed off, but apparently the finance department takes their time about this thing. I should make the point that we have just put through the lighting. We know we were going to put through some lighting as well, but due to the difficulty of finding somebody to do it, we're going to carry on with the Lido and put the lighting through separately, rather than creating a delay for the Lido shelter.
Lido shelter. Not the Lido shelter.
Do we want to do the MMO now?
Yeah.
Okay. So, as you, I think, have all got, is a reply from the MMO after our meeting, which brings out and requires some information. I've got a bit of a circuit out and read this, because this is partly drawn up by ourselves and with Nick. So, there was a joint recognition of the people there, including obviously ourselves, to listen to it, that the project had not quite met the desired outputs in the terms being fit for purpose. That's in the email. And our comment on that was that after a detailed discussion around the construction, the use with the MMO, fully aware that the pontoon did not reach the deep water, it was also recognised that the original objective to provide safe landing for COVID fishing vessels during the COVID and have been overtaken by events. COVID risks have been reduced and the fishing fleet is now minimal at best. And we went through many other issues about the water temperature reducing, fishing reducing, and therefore we also talked about the number of fishermen still around and that the major stakeholder unfortunately died during the process and didn't take wasn't fulfilled. By the way, just as a matter of interest, prior to that we had discussions with the IFCA, which is the Essex and Kent people. We had a long conversation with them, and they confirmed basically what we all know, that there's very few fishermen. Actually, in fact, I think they said there's only one, possibly two. In the area, on in their email, as you remember, there is a need to set out comprehensive detail around the mitigation. So we're not sure what comprehensive is. I mean, we can't get into the science of the water, temperatures and things like that, but I think we need to list out what the mitigations were. And one of them, obviously, is that when it was finished, COVID had ended. Yeah. So one of the primary reasons for it not had gone away. And secondly, then we have the fishing fleet size and what's happened to the fish and things like that, which we went through in detail. Then on the conditions of the grant, there was particularly the duration of operations, and this was that if we were changing it in any way or had to change something, it was that we had to give them information as soon as we were going to do that, and apparently we hadn't met that criteria. But I think this is a matter of procedure, and I don't know where you go with that. So the other thing we talked about was mitigating the use of it by suggesting that we could move it into a different thing. And at that point, we brought out an old plan that had been around for some time about the reorganisation of the HARD and the smacking dock and the whole thing, and produce a major, I think it was a £2.5 million project. Did it have a name?
£1.25 million.
£1.25 million, okay. Discount. I don't know what the name of the project was. I'm sorry.
It was regeneration.
Anyway, and just as a reply to that, there is a development plan. I've seen it in draft, but it needs a massive amount of work to take this further, and collaboration between stakeholders, and it will take time and God knows what else. And they need a reply by the 26th of March.
It is due next week.
Yeah, whilst engaging, and at the same time the criteria was that we had to engage with the commercial fishing fleet, which was a sort of news and bird telling them that there wasn't a fleet. So we were going a bit round this. But one of the key objectives and one of the things they mentioned all the way through the conversation was, and repeated it continuously, was that it's not fit for purpose, and that they need it to be made fit for purpose, basically. And as I say, we sat there and listened. We tried to mitigate some of the conversation, but we were there in a listening mode rather than anything else. The whole thing was taken in goodwill, very, very conciliatory meeting. The gentleman, I've lost his name for a moment, Michael Johnson was the boss of the grants, so we didn't see Kennedy, was it?
Adam Kennedy.
We didn't talk to him at all, but we just talked to this gentleman who was the boss. Matter of interest, just so you can see how things work round. I think his name's, is it Julian Rowley? Somebody? Yeah. Justin Rowley? He is actually on the IFCA board.
He is,
yeah. So they're obviously listening to what you're talking about, and they knew what was going on. And a couple of times, and I have to say, not in the best, it was said very nicely, but the second or third sentence was that when they heard our explanation, we will have to take this to our legal department. And they closed the meeting, and if you note, they closed their meeting, their email, or opened it, I can't remember now, by mentioning that the recovery of funds are still remain a possible consideration. So I think we as a group have done what we were trying to do, scrutinised it, we've got down to the nitty-gritty of it. And I think somebody else now that's got some more knowledge, because, I mean, obviously I wasn't even around when this is, then starts putting together this answer. And I've spoken to Rick here, and he's very willing to take that on. Dave and I will obviously help.
I will need everybody's help, so I'm happy to start.
So just before we go, I think just Councillor Atkinson just wants to say something.
Yeah, I was just going to reiterate what Councillor Pavey said. Just to say that I think we had a Teams meeting. I think it lasted nearly an hour and a half, an hour and 20 minutes. And throughout the whole of that time, the MMO, I thought their attitude was very fair, very reasonable, and at one point I would have said sympathetic, which that was very good. And I think the questions that they've asked as a response are also very fair and reasonable. So there was absolutely no question of hostility or any aberration. It was just an exchange of views.
So the new, that's good.
And they were really the three headings, I suppose, the past, the present, and the future. That's what we've got to address.
And the new working group will be working on that.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, both Councillor Paley and Councillor Atkinson for that, and also Councillor Mitchell for helping to compile that very first level of request. Thank you very much. Councillor Walton, you have something to say?
Well, only that I really want to say thanks to the working group, including Nick Barry as well. I think you did a very, very good job. And I can see their concern in their response, and I think it does need answering sympathetically and with lots of thought. But I think there is possible ways to satisfy them. So I'd like to put that to the group and see if they all agree.
So it's a working group, and it's a working in progress group, and no doubt you will be given feedback to the full council as and when you get it, so that they're kept abreast of it.
Well, there is an issue that this has to be sent before the next council.
I think the working group can now start working on that.
I'll literally straight away.
And then send it off.
Well, give it to you guys to look at it first. And,
But you don't need
But
to
then-
go back to the council.
No.
straight off.
Councillor.
Yeah, I'd like to second that. I'd like to really, really thank the group that took this up for us. I mean, it was so important and you've done a great job doing it. And I'd just like to, I mean, John, are you on that working group because it was your remit in the first place?
No, I've offered any help or assistance, but I'm not on the group.
Right.
Or I've been asked to be on the group.
I certainly would like you to look at the draft before it goes
In
on.
that case, I'd like to be the representative on the group, and I'll be fine with it.
Well, it's just that, I mean, it was your deal when you first came,
I think the most important thing that the working group does now is cascade all information to council so that we can all see what's going on. And I'd be happy to
well,
be the conduit.
yeah, I'm happy that it is, that we are doing that now.
Top priority.
Okay,
Absolutely.
okay, everybody?
Again, I know how much hard work has gone into it, and thank you for doing that. I'm just so pleased we didn't send that report.
Yes.
So it's
Well, I think
more-
that's
because
yes,
reading
it's-
this and talking to you anyway, the report that was done could have been landed us in a lot of trouble.
Alienated, I think.
Yeah.
Okay then, moving on then. Yeah.
Just on a report, I haven't got to get it right. I mean, the letter that the MMO sent, it was to the council, and it was to the council respond, not some third party or some consultant.
Yeah.
So we spent quite a lot of time on the case, and we looked at evidence from various sources, and we used that. So, and the report, we did read that and take that into consideration, but it wasn't for anybody else to respond to the MMO other than us, which is what we did.
Okay, so
Thank you.
so those are the FCA minutes and the recommendations. May I have a proposer and a seconder for the recommendations, please? Proposer Kate, seconder Councillor Atkinson. All in favour? Any against? You're abstaining, yes. Thanks very much. You get the abstention. Thanks, working group. Thank you, working group. Okay. Our next informal committee is the Environment and Transport team, the acronym E&T, which I always love, Ian over the front. This is in the capable hands of the chair of Councillor Howard. Jean, is there anything within your report you would like to highlight? Or
Yeah, can I just ask Tracy, Councillor Pentley is on the committee, she should be on the committee. Is that all right? Can I just make sure she
Yes.
doesn't say that?
and that is it, as
We're
it's
just to reiterate, we are going to accelerate the 20 is plenty.
stated.
That'll speed it up, will it?
we're going to speed it up. We've decided that we're getting nowhere with James Radwell,
Okay.
especially around the school, the Western Road area.
May I ask how you deal with the estate agent signs?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Councillor Steady, can you
Yeah, well,
update
yeah,
us on that?
going forward. Yeah,
Sorry, Chris.
I'll go for a start. Yes, I'll my house, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, the idea is we're going to
Target places.
and then we're going to move it around. We'll move them around
Yeah.
rather than get signed lines.
Yeah.
Okay. Good idea.
Very good.
Sorry, have you finished it?
No,
Councillor?
Sorry, I was only on the your item agenda, the last one, the recommendations on item 7. You said you've sent a quotation for the playground to repairs to be sent to Tenbury District Council for 106 funding. I think that is not correct. There is a fund for that to be repairs, but it's not 106. So if you are replying for 106, you're not replying in the right way.
Yeah, I think maybe that shouldn't have been in our meeting. I think
No.
it was just come up in a conversation.
Finance.
I think we had
Right,
Councillor
okay.
Barry, and I think it just came up in a conversation, and somehow it's got on my
There is
minutes.
there is a fund for repairs to the
Yeah.
playground.
Yeah, I think it was because the
Excuse me.
might have been a confusion because
Right,
it's
okay.
recorded and it might have just been a conversation in the middle of it. Sorry.
Okay, thanks very
I
much.
think, yeah.
Kerry.
Are we going to do anything for the Great British Spring Clean that we were just talking about? Are we going to put anything forward?
Yeah. I've been away all week, so I haven't managed to do anything, but I am going to put something forward.
Because that would be really nice to do.
Yeah,
something.
absolutely, yeah, yeah.
It's on the 21st of March.
And we've also,
until the 6th of April.
yeah, tried to do some yellow lines along the pinch point on Station Road, some yellow lining on the dangerous junction at Lower Park Road, Western Road. And we've had to do a survey, as you have to do on all these requests. And mainly everybody's against it, so that's not going to get very far.
Go back to the drawing board.
Yeah,
Okay.
Councillor Barry is going to try and see if we can still put yellow lines on the pinch point because it's a bus route, but we'll have to update on
Must
that
be
later
parking
on.
partnerships, very frustrating to do.
Really?
Okay.
Actually, they weren't very helpful, but it's just, if you've got to do this survey first, you're not going to get all the residents that want to sort of go along with it. Yeah.
The bollards at the prom,
Yeah.
Wesley Prom, have they been fixed now?
No,
Oh, sorry, it's alright. I
Yeah.
thought I heard that they've been done already.
Oh,
no, they're going to
done
be,
it.
metal ones are going to be put in the
I
place.
don't know why I thought that. Sorry. Okay.
They were useless.
Okay, thanks very much. Would you like to propose your minutes?
I'll propose one of the next, yeah.
Thank you. Anyone like to second the second? All in favour? Say thank you. Okay.
We should do the favour from the
Our next seems reports welfare and residence services.
I'm going to apologise for not getting the written one in, but it's all come in the last 24 hours. Diabetic eye screening was here for 7 days, 180 appointments booked, 141 patients attended, 31 patients did not attend, and 8 patients were late or cancelled. If you know, I say it every time.
Fair enough.
We tried to get them here working. And also, it was really coincidentally yesterday that I ended up having a meeting on universal credit and the changeovers that's happening. I actually took a local resident who had to verify his where he lived and things, and ended up being invited to stay to join in on a meeting about it, and they're now going to keep me updated. Everybody is going to come off of PIP or working tax, whatever they've all been on, all going under universal credit. I would like to say it was easy, but this resident who I help doesn't read or write. So you know, I ended up doing it online with him, and then ended up having to take him to a job centre, and they're petrified. Yes. A lot of the new benefits I think are going to work. Listening to what they were saying, a lot of people are going to be affected. This morning I then met with the food bank to tell them they may see an increase because there's going to be a delay in payments, although they can get some help. But whereas they would receive a payment on the 8th of April, I'm saying they're now not going to get it until the 18th of April. Yes, as I said, they can apply for some help, but that would be deducted from the payments. So we sort of now made the food bank aware that there could be an increase and that there is a legitimate reason for people coming in.
Very difficult
So
times.
yeah, but it's all sort of happened in the last day.
We appreciate your skills.
Jane, you know the attendance allowance, is that going to be affected as well?
No.
So, if I've heard a few people have come to me and asked how they can have it, how they can have help filling it out, because there's been quite a few people that are finding it hard, and struggling to do it. Do you know?
I'll fill it out with them.
You'd fill it out with them. Thank you.
I do on average 2 a week at the moment.
Is that something that they need to book in, or can they come in and see you?
They can come in and see me and I can give them the forms
Yeah.
and then sort of tell them and then I can guide them from there.
Right. Thank you.
Just not next week, I'm not there.
No, it's fine. Thank you.
So just a couple of things, Jane. Just in relation to that attendance allowance, there is a lady at present at the GP surgery that come out and fill out the forms, but I think that role is going to be going. So with that in mind, is it possible to get Peabody to come here to do a benefit-specific session that might help people?
They will do them on Wednesdays anyway.
Right, okay.
Along with citizens' advice, because we have both here on Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if there could be something specific to benefits that we could get a group
Yeah,
together
well,
for.
we could sit and we go through them with them.
Yeah, yeah.
I think, things are changing, unfortunately.
So that's on a Wednesday.
Sorry, Councillor Court.
I was just going to say, if you need any help with these forms, because I don't think everyone really kind of understands how much of this stuff you do.
Yeah.
And if you're going to get loads more, then I put my hand up to come and take some off your hands and help you. Or maybe we'll put on a session down here where a few of us come down and help people. It cuts a lot of your time.
I think putting a session on, as Kate has said here, there's another girl we had when CBST did the winter warmer day. She came out as well and helped. I think, it's a good idea. The quickest way to do it is online, but that people don't have online.
I don't think it's just that as well. I think it's the way the wording things aren't. It's not
Yeah,
correct,
it's
and this
very,
is where they're
very-
unstuck.
It's the same question with a slightly different word. Yeah.
But this is, and there's people that quite clearly need it and they're not getting it.
No. And unfortunately, they're running 10 to 12 weeks now before you get an answer.
You can reapply though, can't you? So
Yeah.
even if you've been turned around, they can reapply
You can
again.
appeal, but you can't
You can
reapply
appeal.
unless your circumstances change.
Change, yeah.
Wow.
In
You
6
can appeal.
months, but
So you can't reapply.
No, you can appeal their decision, but then if they come back and say no, we're sticking by a decision, you can't reapply.
So how-
as Jane says, for 6 months,
So
unless
if
your
they need to
circumstances change.
appeal, sorry, Kate, if they need to appeal, can they come to you and can you help them
no,
through that?
they have to do their own appeals, unfortunately.
Okay,
We
so
can
it's,
help guide them through to get to the stage.
They've not written it
And
right,
just
or
out of
it's too late.
something else we do quite a lot of is Blue Badge, and then now you won't hear anything from them for 12 weeks. They're actually working on the January lot.
it does make you realise just how much work is done behind the scenes on welfare. A lot of it is done by Councillor Chapman. A lot of it, of course, has to remain confidential. I would perhaps suggest that if any councillor wishes to try and help Jane and approach her outside of council, and we can see if we can.
But I think trying to do a session here
would be a good thing.
would be good. I think you could sit and guide people through. A lot of people don't like strangers in their house.
No, of course.
And that is.
Okay, I'll happy but comfortable, I suppose. So we'll just move on now to the last one of the team's reports of communications and tourism. Again, I'll just give another advert for our new town guide that came out today, full of advertising, and we find it so good. We've actually received 3 adverts for our next year's today. During the week, BBC Radio Essex were doing a bit of a complaint on about how people were looking at Essex and how nobody was sort of trying to create any tourism type things within Essex, and we get the wrong type of tourists. So I quickly sent them an email with our film and what we do here, and the fact that we exhibit at the Ten Ring Show. As far as I'm aware, we're the only council that does that, and shamed them all, really. We didn't say anything.
Just 2 quick points. It's excellent to see that. I do think tourism is actually on the increase in Brightsea.
It is.
To be honest, the people I meet who are tourists
Yeah.
seem to be very happy with Brightsea.
It is on the increase. Our little TAP group, which is a lovely little group, unfortunately we don't have any formal way of measuring the increase of tourism apart from the fact of how many of these we print and how quickly they go, and car parks. But you're right, it is on the increase.
What's the financials on it?
We're just doing those at the moment. These literally have come off the press this afternoon. We're just waiting for
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But it's certainly going to be in the back. And that helps to pay for lots of things that we do for tourism.
I think it's the one road in, John. We don't let them out again. Sorry, did you say these
Traffic lights.
Yes, they're ready to go out now. Absolutely, take a box for tendering. And if any member of public wishes to take some home with you for some light reading. Really, just to formally say, on behalf of the council, we are so grateful for our local businesses for advertising that. Thank you very much. Agenda item number 8, cracking on because the time is getting on, is finance, and that is to receive and approve the minutes of the finance meeting held on the 18th of March 2025 and to confirm the recommendations therein. Finance is chaired by Councillor Atkinson. Is there anything you'd like to suggest on that? Or
No, Rob, we had a meeting on Tuesday. There's a few recommendations on how to improve accountancy and general efficiency of SAFE this coming year. The main debate was the 3rd meeting on the trot to revise the 25-26 budgets with some last minute interventions and changing income projections. So we had to discuss to find that. For those of you not immediately aware, we're going to get 2 weeks to the end of the financial year. So we've got to get these things sort of for them, which time flies, doesn't it? So I think we've got there. So that's was the main debate. Don't say any queries. If there's any on the yellow lines, I shall have to read the room.
are you happy to propose those recommendations?
If there's no queries, yes, I would like to propose them.
Councillor Courtney, second them. All in favour? Any against or abstentions? We've got 2 abstentions. There's just 2, isn't it? Okay, so those are... agenda item 8B is to confirm the recommendation of those members of examining the accounts for the current period. Councillor Courtney.
Councillor Chapman and I have examined the accounts for February 2025 and under the delegated authority to the Finance Committee confirm that 15 payments in the sum of £11,569.93 have been authorised and paid, and a statement of balances on the following accounts be accepted. Current account 7055 is 14674.68. Business premium account 9433 is £7,606 exactly. Business premium account 8295 is £35,474.89. CCLA Public Sector Deposit Fund is £1,009.24. Instant Access account 0373 £85,795.52. Current T2 account 0360 £3,344.91, making a total on all accounts of £147,905.24. Income for February 2025 is £48,640.21. Expenditure for February 2025 £84,476.73. Income to date, 1st of April to 28th February 25, £461,580.11. Expenditure to date, 1st of April to 28th of February 2025, £400,633.35. And finally, employee payments paid for the month of February 2025 were £17,586.99.
Councillor Courts proposes, Councillor Chapman seconds. All in favour? Any to the contrary? Those are approved. Thank you. Moving swiftly on to planning. Agenda item 9. Note the minutes of the planning meeting held on 11th March 2025 and the planning decisions of Tendring District Council. Planning is the chairmanship of Councillor Paisley.
On this I have nothing.
Nothing on that? Do you have, Councillor Paisley, anything on the Tendring District Council consultation, local plan review issues and options? I'm sorry, we need a second. Councillor.
Yes, I'll quickly go through this because I think we arranged to do this. So, as you may or may not know, there's a new target for housing in the Tendring District area. The old target that Councillor Steady showed you the numbers for applications for used to be 550 a year. Under the new targets, they're going up to 1,034 a year. The Tendring District Council have been told that they need to review and submit a new local plan, which you've seen copies of, I think. And just basically, very quickly, there are 4 options, A, B, C, D. And these consist of basically new garden villages is the primary growth area in them. That and then Harwich taking Harwich and Dovercourt taking the most housing. And in each option, A, B and C, Brighton-Sea is seen as a medium-sized town and therefore has been allocated 100 to 300 houses. However, in option D, which is a 4-garden village, and again I won't go through you the details, but Brighton-Sea is demoted, I suppose, to the lower levels of growth, in which would be Brighton-Sea 30 to 100 homes, which I think is a sensible consideration.
Over what period?
That would be over the full year.
It's about 16 years.
That's over 16 years.
Well, I think these numbers projected in here are over the first 5, aren't they? Otherwise you won't get to 6,000.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the life of the parliament.
You've got to have them in, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, what we're talking about is a very significant difference in A, B and C compared to D. And we know that there's a questionnaire going on, and I've looked through that questionnaire and just brought to the attention of the members here and the public that they may wish to view these particular numbers in the questionnaire specifically because they are directly relevant to Brighton. So question C is, do you have any comments about the principles? And my specific idea for Brighton-Sea to reduce us and get option D, should I say, achieve option D, is to look at this logically. And I think the logical way of looking at this is the logistics, services and infrastructure within Brighton-Sea. And one of the greatest ones is we've just heard about that in, I calculate 2013, it would appear that 3.5 million journeys were taken in and out of Brighton-Sea, and I suspect that it's nearly double that in that period, if not more. And there's only one road. And one road has the implications of several things, but one of them is emergency services. And if you go to the climate flooding process, in 2030, Brighton-Sea will be an island. So I'm not sure if we've only got one road and loads more people, how they're all going to get us off the island very quickly. Yeah. So I think with that, you've got a whole argument about the infrastructure of the whole town. So under question one, I have cited the request to look at the capacity of local infrastructure as it is, not as they might promise. Because, Section 106 get paid at the end, not at the beginning.
Yes.
And I think it's really important that as people look at the end, what it's like now when they accept this. So question one, I have that for question 3, there's a consideration of the infrastructure again, and basically I'm maintaining that all the way through. And if anyone would like to see my suggestions, I'm not going to go through them. I think I sent them to you anyway. If anybody would like to see that, we're trying to get a coherent objection based on real science rather than like, we don't want more houses. We can't afford more houses because we won't be able to get out of our town. There is also a report that I haven't actually seen, but I've heard a lot about, that there's not enough water coming in. So, how many houses can we take when we haven't got enough water at the moment? And there's several other things in the answers. And I'm trying to repeat that argument all the way through. And it would be helpful, rather than as a very logical argument to stopping. And if you look on the website, Brightsea website, on the planning, I've put a list of issues where you can object to planning. These are the logical issues. And obviously infrastructure is one of them, and I think it should be the major one. I'll leave it there.
Thank you very much. That's a very comprehensive report, and I'm sure that there will be lots of questions. Now I think we've got Councillor Steady first, then Councillor Howard, and then Councillor Bendy. So away you go.
Okay, thank you. So what we need we need a council view of what our collective view is.
I agree.
And we need that obviously on our website, and obviously we need that to hit social media. I know but I think we need a council point of view, so it's from all of us. And also, I'm not quite sure if they are going to take the numbers, but some way, if there's already planning permission given, then we should push that home, that is part of our number.
I've been through the whole thing,
I know, but we can
and
try.
they don't count, unfortunately.
But we can try though, can't we?
I think Jean first.
I'd like to thank Councillor Pavey for doing this, because you're sorting out what we need to, object to. I agree with Councillor Steady. We need to do a whole council. And also, just thinking on one of those things, didn't they say we think we still had a station?
No, it talks about one of the options of. Sorry.
No, you
sorry,
go.
go on. Sorry.
One of the questions says, do you think that this development should be focused on railway stations? Hang on a second, just give me a second.
Yes,
Question 14, which is, do you agree that the villages with railway stations offer a better location for future development?
Yes.
Strangely enough, I've said yes. Logically, places with railway stations provide a better location for future development. I mean, and I think that's what it is. So it wasn't saying we've got.
Oh, okay.
It does
Well,
on
one
their
of the-
display.
yeah, one of the plans
It does
does.
actually say that.
Does
I
it?
thought
It
it
puts
did,
us in
yeah.
the group with
Yeah,
Oh,
I
puts us
thought
in the
it
group,
did,
yeah,
yeah.
railway
Yeah.
stations. Yeah.
Okay, Councillor Bendy.
Part of it's been answered, and the other
Okay.
part was with the development as well. We were saying about the road going in and out.
Yeah.
If we had 2 roads, that means I've heard that we would lose our fire service, because isn't that why we've got the fire service in the first place? Because we've only got one road in, one road out.
Yeah.
Can I just tell you there, because I've been involved in building roads at a regional level. They take years. If you said today we wanted one, it would take you 4 years to get the plans through, because they have to purchase the land. So I think anybody saying there's a second road option, I'm talking long, you know,
I think as well that the
outside of
public
this
needs
plan,
to be,
outside of this planning is for basically 5 years with an extension.
Within the life of a park.
So they're not going to build a road within 5 years.
but what I'm saying is the public need to be aware of the fact of there is another side to having another road, because it's all very, oh look, let's have another road, but we lose our fire service, we'll have piles and piles of extra houses, we're going to be absolutely flooded with houses. It's actually going to be worse, far worse.
I think I don't. I take your point, but
There is no.
the chances of us getting a road in the next 10 years, I would say,
Or even 20.
It's not going to happen.
Councillor Chapman.
Unfortunately,
Don't say new road.
I sit on this committee, and I have to first praise the tendering planning officers, because up until this was thrown at us, they were fighting so hard not to get any extra development into Brightonsea. And for the first call out on vacant land, nobody came forward in Brightonsea, which surprised them, because in the last call for land, all round the church came forward, all the Trinity. But I can tell you now that people have come forward. The consultation is nearly finished, so I will get to hear and find out. But what I was going to say was, as a council, I need you as a council to tell me what to stand up and say. You know, I've been standing up saying and fighting, and as I said, all credit to the planning officers, because they know exactly where I'm coming from. But I now need to be able to stand up and say I have the full backing of the town council, and this is where we stand.
I can't remember the guy's surname, but his first name was Paul, and that's basically exactly
Paul Wood.
Paul Wood.
Yeah,
Exactly what it said to me.
Yeah.
Members of the communications team, do you think this is a thing for you,
I
chaps?
think we need to get the council.
We need to get the council position to.
Can we not set a date to meet?
Yeah. So that we can get a council position of where we're going.
Well, I was going to. I've said this round.
Yeah.
I would like to propose that that's our answer.
Okay.
I think that's a really good idea.
And then that, you know, then we've got opposition, then we can actually pass it, it's a public thing. But at the moment, we've never voted on this, or we've never.
Okay. Well, let's vote on a recommendation for that, shall we?
Right. Okay. Well, I did send this round to everybody. I haven't answered every question, and there are some parts that maybe people may object to live in different areas. But basically, I think it's quite sensible. It basically argues that the problem is.
I should have stayed on that one because I haven't actually fully read it.
Okay. Well, perhaps, because it would seem that not everybody's fully read it. So let's just put it down as a recommendation. I've fully read it. I think it's brilliant. And there's been a lot of work gone into that. So I would like to put Matt, you'd like to say something?
Well, the only thing is we kind of have to decide tonight.
Yeah,
because the consultation closes.
Yeah.
Unless you did it as the recommendation of the Town Council Planning Committee, which is executive, which means you could, when's your next planning meeting?
Next week.
So you could do it on that, and if that sets out the council position.
You prefer full council?
Why don't we just let Rick read it now, and then we can
read it.
Well, look, you read it now.
It's not going to take him that long.
I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so Councillor Court did have a question. He's had his hand up for a while. So Councillor
I just want to say thanks, Chris, because I mean Chris has done a really good job in getting it out in kind of the technical planning terms as well, which I'm not really good at. The key thing is that we don't, for the members of the public as well, from whenever we're talking to people, how do we respond? It's too difficult. I can't go through 77 questions. They don't have to. They can just write a handwritten letter on the back of a post-it note and send it to Tendring District Council, and it will make its way onto the consultation. And they will put the staff, who I thought were really, really good the other night, they'll kind of translate that and put that into an actual official consultation response for them, or you can just email them as well. But I would say as well is, even when we come up with our council position, it shouldn't stop us. We should all respond individually as well, because we have got 12 voices around this table as well. And also another thing I've been telling people when they've been speaking to me about it is, say, a couple comes to me and asks, how do we do it? No, actually, you don't do it together, do it separately, because then you've got 2 voices for the price of 1. So all these little things could add up. And I thought it was really, really good how we just smashed Harwich out of the park in terms of numbers the other night, and with the way that we were talking as well. You know, I was listening quite a lot instead of talking, and people were putting across some really intelligent, well-structured points. So I think we should be really proud of ourselves as a town.
Well said. Well said. That's a very intelligent thing. Yes, Chair.
You're hesitating, aren't you? But also, just for the public, tendering had got the local plan ready to go to government.
Yeah.
It would all been rewritten, we'd all worked on it, spent many, many hours. It was ready to go to government for passing again. And then this got thrown out. So imagine the hours and hours of work those officers have done to have to come back to right at the beginning. But to be told that if they say, no, actually, right, EC isn't in a position to do it, government will check that. And if government say we will take it, we will take it. And if we don't develop, or we can't produce enough land to build 100 houses, say, we can only do 50, Torrington's got to take ours. Your neighbour has to take those numbers. And also it came out, if nobody came forward with development land, they're going to do a land grab. That's been announced last week as well. And I would be really angry that if I owned a lump of land to be told they were going to take my bit of land for development. So it's really thrown a spanner in the works. But for what Chris has done and what Matt's just come in with, I would like, as I said, I need council to tell me that's our answers and that's what I will argue with.
So I think Councillor Morgan's coming to the end of his read.
Yeah, no, it looks absolutely fine. The only thing, were you not going to put something in about just we want to see the protection of the fields up by the church, particularly
That's in a conservation area.
No, not Tilton side, on the other side.
I think we ought to be having that in here specifically as a major target of right.
Are we in a position to dictate things like that?
Well, this is at the very end. You'll notice there's a comments part. Yeah. Just for a general comment, because the rest of them are very specific questions.
Yeah.
So when they talk about Brightlingsea, they don't talk about kids of Brightlingsea.
No.
So I think maybe you can write something now that you want to say about that.
Okay.
And we'll accept that in the comments one.
Okay. Councillor Pavey, are you happy that we now, that full council votes on the fact that your creation is put forward as the council's official response?
Yeah.
I second that.
You second that? Okay. All in favour? Apart from Rick, who's quickly writing. Okay.
Sorry.
Yes.
Can I just? We know we're going to end up with something.
Well, yeah.
I think, as Graham said earlier, if we can be ahead of the game and say, actually, I think you should be using this plot of land, whether it's come forward or not. And my eye, looking around the town, we've got an empty plot where Well House was, and I know it had covenants on it for old people's homes. They could be removed. To me, that would be the obvious position to say, put houses on it, and I think it would look quite, it may have come forward, I don't know, but it would be quite good to say, actually, we are looking and we would like to work with you.
Yes.
Okay.
So one of the things Paul Wood did chat to, I think it was chatting to me, Rick actually, about it, is the, because I asked about the type of housing that would need to be built. For example, in Great Bentley, they're all big 5-bedroom executive homes.
Yeah.
They'll get straight on the train, they're going to London, they don't have anything to do with Bentley. But I personally believe there is a need for affordable housing, smaller housing, housing for the retired, as we spoke about. So is there an option for us to have we actually addressed that option?
That's what I'm saying, well, house.
Question
Yeah.
44 actually asked that, and I put in here, yes, particularly for senior residents.
Yeah.
Council Robinson.
Speak for yourself.
Okay.
Junior school.
So will that count, Jane? That's
Just
what I'm
pass it.
saying. If we have an old people's home, will it count as
Oh yeah, it's residents' home, but
right?
I can't see an old people's home
Yeah.
being built because we've got empty spaces in residential homes anyway. But to say, as you say, a warden control,
Yeah.
a bit like John King Court,
Yeah.
if you like. They're all individual, but they've got help if it's
Yeah.
needed. I do feel that if we could work with them and
Yeah.
say, actually, look, we think we've got the ideal spot.
Yeah.
How about looking at this?
So if there were 30 warden control flats, is that 30 homes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very interesting debate. So you've just, I'll just come back to Nick in a second. So you've got the addendum from...
Shall I read this
Yes,
out?
please.
I might read it out slightly different.
Please do.
So I think we should change this too. So Bradley Council is particularly concerned that there is no, I think it's called strip, strip or ribbon development.
Ribbon development, yeah.
Yeah. So Brightsea would not wish to see new developments on the fields adjacent to the old church. I think it's
All Saints.
All Saints. Best make that All Saints.
Yeah.
Plus the fields behind Brightsea Hall. So that's the one along Sampson's Road.
Yeah, just behind Brightsea.
Okay, I might just reword that
Yeah,
just a little bit.
It's the gist of it.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Okay. Councillor Judson, you like to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to ask how big is the old site for the old care home? How many houses do you think they'd get on it?
Depends what size they want to build.
Yeah.
I
I think
know
it's
that-
probably as big as John's Court. The area
Yeah,
is
John-
probably as big.
Yeah, I
John
think
King Court.
if
Yeah.
they were warden controlled or something, then, as you said, probably 30, they would get on there.
I think now, at the moment, that area is designated for nursing home. There's a special designation for nursing
Yeah, it's got a
home.
covenant on.
Yeah, yeah. But it's also under planning, under PPE.
But it's
Three.
also now got to the time where twice he's sold it and twice it's been withdrawn, and he would now have an argument.
Anyway, I think those nitty-gritty things come down to when
Yeah.
you've done it.
Yeah.
When it happens.
I still think the best way of stopping this is saying we ain't got no water, and
Yeah.
you can't get up and down the road. You know? I think
Well,
that's the way to stop development.
But the officers
Okay.
say, play on your one road in.
Yeah.
And transport.
Okay, well that was unusually a very, very good debate. And,
Unusually.
Sorry, I'm going to propose that.
You have already proposed it.
Then he seconded it.
He seconded it, and we have all voted.
All right, beg your pardon, I missed that bit.
We've already done all
And we've
that.
already done that bit. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you on that.
And please, councillors, feed into Councillor Paley anything else you feel that might want to go there. But you may need to be quick, and you must feed it back to me, because Jane needs it. Thanks very much. Okay. Our next item on the agenda is item 10, questions from the public. Before I ask any questions from the public, we have had a written question that's come in from a resident. I will read that. I'll draw your attention to the matters stated in my letter read out at last month's meeting due to the serious nature of ongoing highways offences that persist at Strangers Corner. This, if you remember, is to do with when they're playing rugby and the parking. Along with a very long period of time that has elapsed with no change whatsoever. Can you please explain why the matter has not been escalated and brought to the attention of the following? 1, the head of Essex Highways. 2, the Cabinet Member for Highways. And 3, the head of Essex Police for Road Safety. So we will be passing this across to the Environment Committee, but I have to confirm with you that we are not really not a highways authority or a parking authority. But we do have the right to go to lobby those authorities, which we are doing quietly and silently. And Jean has been doing some hard work with the school to try and educate them to keep the things open. So I will, with council's permission, pass this over to the ENT for further discussion from them. I don't know if the residents here tonight. No? Okay. Well, we'll write back to the resident and say that we will be passing that across the ENT for further.
Hopefully we've heard from the school by then.
Yeah.
I think obviously our county councillor is well aware.
Yes.
He actually lives out there.
He lives there.
I think maybe escalate is to pass it down. Say, look, can you escalate that?
Yeah, I don't think we've actually formally passed it to them.
I have actually mentioned it to Alan, but nothing's happened.
Right.
But we did. I did go up there last week to where Mr. Sale lives with Terry, the groundsman, and we discussed it at ENT. And we thought for a quick, because people park up on the grass on the front of this, and that actually belongs to Highways.
Yeah.
It's not ours.
Yeah.
So Terry informs me, because I thought it was ours because we cut the grass
No.
there.
No, we paid to them.
Yeah, we paid 9p now, 9p
It's
something.
a lot.
Yeah. So we did agree, just for a quick helping hand, to Councillor Morgan's suggestion, just to buy some signs with "keep off the grass" on them, and hope that might keep them away.
Yeah.
But he does live next door, but one I think to our county councillor.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's
I
a
think
difficult situation.
there's a double thing that we could perhaps do. I think you're right to identify the fact that us providing some signs and just sticking them in there, whilst it's not quite the right way to do things, it might be an easier.
But I'm quite aware of what he's emailing me every week
Is he?
about this, and he knows we are trying to do something about it, but
Okay.
obviously things don't
Well, we'll
happen
do a
quick
formal
enough,
letter
yeah.
to the county council,
Yeah.
I think, if that's okay, Tracy, do you think? We'll do a formal letter to our county councillor
Yeah.
asking him to now bring this up with the county.
Yeah. I think we've already done that, but
Can I just add, we have had signs up there before. They were all broken by cars parking on verges.
Right, okay, there we are.
I think Terry did say that.
Yeah.
We just thought we'd try and
Clarify,
clarify.
well, we're going through the sign thing that we've added.
Mm.
The parking at the school, that's definitely confirmed that is always open when matches are on.
Mhm.
All matches? As in all matches that go through that
Well,
system?
they have to go through the school to be able to play there.
So when they,
Yeah.
because the booking thing isn't through the school, is it? The booking thing is,
Yeah.
so does that go through the school though? Every time someone
Yeah.
books straight
Yeah,
to
the
school,
school
it goes
deal
through
with
school.
it. Yeah,
Okay.
they've got two.
Okay.
I think they said they've got two people. They open the gates, and when everybody's gone out off of the grounds, they then go up and shut the school gates, so that they don't shut people in there.
Okay.
So I go back to my original question about why somebody from the school can't stand up at the top and stop them from parking on the grass. If their school are aware that it's booking.
I think that question has been asked by the
Yeah.
ENT. I know that Jean has been busy. You've been trying to arrange, with Rick as well,
Yeah,
arrange
no, try-
meetings
yeah.
with the school, and it's almost as diplomatic as
We have had a
Trump
meeting
and
with the school.
Putin.
We have had a meeting with the school, and they're really interested in trying to do a car park
Yeah.
on there. It's now been
It's
raised to
been
the-
raised up to
yeah.
the actual owners of the school, the operators
Yeah,
of the school,
trustees.
which will have to now try and get a good meeting with.
Yeah.
But I think if we target them with what they really want to hear,
Yeah.
I think they'll then see us,
Yeah.
and then we can see.
There we go. Okay, so this is now
And
in
also we have
ENT.
District Councillor Nick Barry,
Yeah.
the singer, Nick Barry on board with.
Okay, so that's passed across to the ENT. We'll write a letter to our county councillor
Yeah.
urging him to
Yeah.
do something, and it will be ongoing with the ENT. Thanks very much. We'll now ask some questions from the members of the public. Councillor Johnson, I wonder if you could just reverse and allow line of sight for our worthy members of the public. No, it's not me, it's worthy members of the public. Do I have any questions?
I do.
Richard is first.
Yes, sorry. The white paper, how many councillors have read the actual white paper?
All of it?
No, the housing bit.
Oh, the housing. Oh, I can't say I have.
I haven't, I have to admit, I've scanned something.
Yeah,
a little bit.
yeah.
So, yes, that was a good. No, they're just a. It was a good meeting, and they're very nice people, and we're talking about what we're going to do. But the Labour government, this is what they want. They want strategic planning, and after tendering finishes, they want every unitary authority to have spatial development strategy. Homes England will be involved. They're going to have a housing delivery. They want to, they can raise levy money, a regional energy plan, but they want to base everything on London, where it's reviewed during over a 20-year period. So this is good. You send it all in, but once tendering's gone, that's in the white paper. And that's what the Labour government want. I urge you to read it and say what you think about it. Because they probably will be able to override what we're doing now. Because if you read it, it says we want these local plans. It starts the ball rolling. But when you go into it, in the detail, there's a bit more to it than that.
I think Councillor Cork would like to.
Yeah, that's why this local plan is so important. Though.
Yes,
This first one.
Yes.
Once tendering and Essex go, we won't even have councillor planning.
No, but what I'm saying is, this is from the Labour government.
Oh, yeah.
Every authority will have a spatial development strategy.
Yeah.
It says in there, this starts the ball rolling.
Yeah.
So we could say 5-6 years down the line, think, well, no, and the Labour government might be in for 10 years. So this plan might be put aside.
I completely agree.
Yeah, I'm not saying we shouldn't do it, but everybody should read it.
And you've got to do it.
I know you've got to do it.
I know. If we don't, we all get 300 homes.
Yeah,
and if you end up with a number of 300,
but you could in the future with this strategy.
Definitely.
You could have a lot more. But what I'm saying is, this is just the beginning of unitary and what the problems you are going to face as a council, because tendering's gone, and you're the link. And in fact, they've just taken off what they said on the first draft. Preferred councils is gone, and I looked it up, and they said it's gone. So you will be the only link. But I'm just
I'm saying it's more important right here and now.
Yes.
Because once that number goes on there,
I realise that.
Okay.
But they say till 2041.
Thanks, Richard, but it's turned into a debate now.
Yes, I know. But I would urge you all to read the white paper.
We're doing due diligence. We're starting. Yeah. Thank goodness for one road in, one road out. Let's get the barriers out quick, and then we won't put competitions in. And passports.
Just the water coming up, and
And
we're
the
in an
water.
island.
Yeah, we're an island.
reinstate the pill bottle.
Valued members of the public, please give me a question that's not to do with planning.
I do apologise.
Mr. Stone.
After Councillor Pavey's report regarding MMO, why are these always in Part B?
We're not.
I know, but last week's month was Part B. You've got it down.
We took it out.
Part B.
No, we took it out from the agenda.
And they'll stay out in the future, will it?
I think you're aware that my appetite for things in Part B is minimal. I don't believe in things in Part B because it shows that we're not sharing full transparency. There are some things that you do have to have in Part B, and those are things like staff minutes, which we're going to discuss tonight, staffing issues, and financials. Unfortunately, we've got to do that, as much as I disagree with it. But I don't like Part B.
Point of the question.
David. Hello, David.
Gentleman's sort of stolen my thunder, actually.
Well, it was.
But I disagree with your description of what you think about. You might think that about Part B, but this council has a shocking reputation for discussing things in private. So when will you make public your response to the MMO?
So the part of it is public now, but because it's such a working group at the moment, it's still working. I think that will be down to the group.
But you've said already, I mean, obviously some of what Councillor Pavement said has preempted some of that, but you've got to come up with a decision shortly. But we're, Dave mentioned in Finance Committee about, the fact that you might have to pay stuff back. This has been sort of bubbling under, and there's never been any definite response from the council at all. So I think it's time you nailed it and went public with it.
We absolutely agree. We believe now is the time to
Good. Well, I shall look forward to your response. Promptly.
I know we're on public, sorry.
Oh no, I was just going to say something.
Go on then.
No, it was just literally about this is where we should be using our comms team more, because we
It
are
is,
literally
it is,
supposed to be
yeah.
reporting everything to them,
Yeah.
to then report. We had to report to all of you, but it's not being used properly at the moment.
So
Do
there.
you not feel like that? Yeah. Okay. Good.
Resident Malcolm, please don't tell me about toilets.
No. Oh, I reckon the money that you've given to the cricket club shouldn't pay for them to be open. But anyway, that is... But we move on.
Yes.
Important issue. The tap in the boat park is not working.
Councillor Morgan can tell you all about the tap in the boat
I've had a
park.
meeting with the Current Yacht Club, and they will put it on for us, and we have to pay a very small fee for having it, but it will be a nice facility for all the people with the space there.
I was down there this morning and I'd lug it back from the Thames jetty to the...
No, we have to try and put that on now.
I can tell you, Malcolm, that tap hasn't worked for the last 10 years.
No.
But it's going
So we got the blame for something that wasn't us.
So Rick has got that in hand?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have any more questions from our valued members of the public? Are your chairs becoming a little bit uncomfortable?
No, they've become very uncomfortable.
Thank you. Okay, thanks very much. Okay, we'll go on to item 11, a very valued thing, which is the Town Clerk's report. Tracy?
Thank you very much. Just two items tonight. The Brighton Sea and District Rotary Club request permission to use Millennium Gardens for the Jog Walk Run event on the 14th of September from 8 AM till 2 PM.
Very good event.
Very good event.
And Hare and Tortoise Running Limited held their Remembrance Sunday event on Sunday the 9th of November 2025, as in previous years.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Good.
Thanks very much, Tracy.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now, I'm sorry, members of the public. So you've got to start with it,
There's
haven't
no
you?
discussion. If you just want to listen.
Shall I request?
Yeah.
I'm going to go on, Councillor Chapman.
Part B is just to pass the staff minutes. Can I just ask if any of the councillors have got any debate? We will need to go into part B. If there's no debate, can I propose that they are passed?
I second it.
You're not there.
Oh, you'll have to second it.
And everyone agree?
Yeah.
Yes.
Whoa, that's a coup.
Okay, we will not be having part B then.
Okay. Thank you very much. Fellow councillors, members of the public, I declare this full council meeting shut.
Closed.
I was going to